It was one of those quiet afternoons where the sky turns gray without warning, the kind that pulls you into a slower mood, where even the wind sounds softer, the kind of day when you're not expecting anything to happen. But something did. The rain had just started to fall, not heavy yet, just enough to turn the pavement dark and wet. You could hear the soft tapping on rooftops and leaves. In a little neighborhood, just on the edge of a small town, the streets were nearly empty. Everyone was staying in, windows shut, lights warm, except for one tiny creature who didn't seem to mind the weather at all. Barely the size of a shoe, with ears too big for his head and eyes full of questions, a tiny puppy was bouncing around a front yard. His name was Peanut, and if you've ever seen a dog so small that even a patch of grass seems like a jungle, you'd understand just how little he really was. Peanut had just moved into his new home a few weeks ago with his family. He was still getting used to the world, scared of the vacuum, unsure of mirrors, and very unsure about stairs. But the rain? For some reason, he loved it. Peanut's little nose wiggled as he sniffed the air, stepping out from the porch into the drizzle. His fur started to get damp, and he gave himself a quick shake, like he was proud to be braving the storm. His owner, a boy named Lucas, called out from the door, "Peanut, come back in!" But the puppy didn't listen. Something had caught his attention. A strange sound came from across the yard, soft, high-pitched, almost like a squeak. Peanut tilted his head. He took a few wobbly steps forward. Then he stopped, ears perked up. Another squeak. This one sounded more desperate. He turned toward the sound and began to trot across the wet grass, his tiny paws leaving prints behind him. Lucas pulled on his raincoat and ran after him, calling again, "Peanut, what is it?" The puppy didn't turn around. He kept going, past the fence, slipping through a little gap and out toward the street. Lucas pushed through the gap after him, water already dripping from his sleeves. Peanut had stopped at a drain at the edge of the road. The metal grate was slick with rain, and just beneath it, tucked into the corner, was a soaked and trembling baby duck. It was barely bigger than Peanut himself, and it looked completely lost. Lucas crouched down beside Peanut. "Oh no, it's a baby duck," he whispered, eyes wide. Peanut took a step forward, tail wagging slowly. He wasn't barking, just watching, his body low like he didn't want to scare it. There was something so strange about how gentle he became in that moment. Lucas reached out carefully and tried to grab the duckling, but it backed away, deeper into the drain. "It's okay, little guy," he said softly. "We're not gonna hurt you." But his arms weren't long enough. There was no way he could reach without falling in himself. That's when Peanut did something that surprised them both. He squeezed under the edge of the grate, just enough to poke his nose and front paws in, and lay down, pressing his little face right up to the duckling's. The duckling froze. Then, slowly, it stepped forward, one tiny webbed foot at a time. After a moment, the duckling got close enough for Lucas to try again. This time, he scooped it up gently, cradling it in his hands like it was made of glass. The duckling didn't struggle. It just sat there, blinking up at him with those wide, tired eyes. They ran back home together, Lucas holding the duckling close to his chest, Peanut trotting behind him like a hero returning from a mission. Inside, Lucas's mom helped dry the duckling with a towel, while Lucas set up a little box with soft cloth and a warm light. They called animal rescue, and someone promised to come by and check on the duckling soon. Meanwhile, Peanut sat right beside the box, ears alert, watching over his new friend. That night, the rain kept falling outside, tapping gently on the windows. Lucas lay on the floor next to Peanut, both of them staring at the little duckling curled up in its temporary bed. You know, sometimes we think of bravery as something loud and bold, something dramatic, but maybe real courage can be small, like a puppy pushing his nose into a storm drain just to comfort someone smaller than him. And maybe that's what makes this story stick with me, because it makes you think about how many little moments we don't notice, how many tiny heroes we miss every day. A dog stopping traffic with a bark, a cat curling up next to a sick child, a stranger offering help without being asked. You probably know someone like that. Maybe you are that person. Maybe you've done something simple that made someone's whole day, and maybe no one saw it, but it mattered. That duckling stayed with them for a few days. The rescue team said it had wandered away from its family during the rain, probably spooked or separated. They were able to reunite it with a nearby pond where other ducklings had been spotted. When the day came to let it go, Lucas carried it to the edge of the water. Peanut came too, this time wearing a tiny red raincoat his mom had bought him after the incident. The duckling stood at the edge for a long time, as if unsure. Then it looked back at Lucas, then at Peanut, and just like that, it waddled into the water and paddled away. Lucas laughed. "Bye, buddy," he said. Peanut barked once, almost like he was saying goodbye too. There are a lot of stories out there, big stories, stories that shout for your attention. But sometimes, the quiet ones are the ones that stay with you, like a puppy in the rain, like a duckling in a drain, like two little lives crossing paths for just a moment and changing each other forever. And you, sitting here with me right now, thinking about this tiny puppy and this soaked baby duck, you're part of the story too, because it's not just about them, it's about all of us, about choosing kindness, about paying attention, about caring, even when it's easier to walk away. Next time it rains and the world feels heavy or slow, maybe you'll think of Peanut, maybe you'll look a little closer, because you never know when a small heart will do something big, or when you'll be the one who sees it.